Howdy, 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 folks. It's your boy, Heffatangs. Back with another video. Wait. Listen to this voice. Simp activate. Okay. That's enough simping for right now. In case you didn't already know, this is going to be a tank review on the Nameless, the other Valkyrie tank, the heavy variant. I have the Edelweiss, I just did that one. I will pin that video right here in the top right. But now we're doing the heavy tank, the Nameless. And this thing is honestly between the two. I was sort of digging the Nameless a little better than the Edelweiss. Here's a little quick old shot right there. Boom. Firing on the moves, not too bad on with this thing. This little Vanguard thought he was gonna get away, but punished him a little bit with that ram, and then suck ass with that shot. But the one thing is with this girl as the crew, she talks, boys. Let me tell you, and gals, she talks about every little thing that fucking happens on your screen. You see a snowflake fall, she's got something to say about that. You get lit up, she's gonna say something about that. It's not a bad thing though, because her voice is very different than what you're used to hearing in World of Tanks, so I sort of dig it. All right, let's get to the let's stop simping for this commander for 5 seconds here, and let's talk about this tank. So the one thing that this tank has over the Edelweiss is armor. This thing actually has usable armor, you guys. I've used it in tier 10 games and it has held water. Now, I am using a replay where I am top tier, so you're going to really see the armor work. But if it really works down here, and it still holds water at tier 10. Alright? Let's talk about the mobility on it. You saw me get into position with this tank. It tops out around 48. Sometimes you can get up to 50. It's not a slow heavy tank. It's about 10 under the Edelweiss, which honestly isn't bad for a heavy tank. Now, per the same perks as usual, I don't have any. I just have 6th Sense on this tank. Alright? I have equipment on this tank, and I think when I was messing around with this tank at this time, I think the equipment I had on it may have been traction system and maybe like reload and vert stabs. Not sure, don't quote me on that. We'll see at the end of the video what I was running. But you've already seen me bounce a couple shots with this tank right now. And now you're going to really see me start to ricochet some stuff. Now, the penetration on this tank, honestly, isn't that bad with AP. AP, I think, compared to the Edelweiss, it has better AP pen. So that's already a thumbs up for this tank. And it also has some decent APCR. Like I said, once you get into tier 10s, you are going to need that APCR. It's still the same as like the Edelweiss. The pen does fall short at tier 10 and tier 9s. What doesn't fall short is the armor at tier 9s and tier 10s. Now when I go around this corner, my armor works and it doesn't work. So the lower plate on this thing is a weak spot, and just like most every tank in the game. So when the Yazi hits me in my lower plate right here, and then I over angle my side and he hits me in the side also. Now, I did bounce the T28 to my right, so that is a plus. It would have been more impressive if the Yazi bounced off my side right there, but like I said, that was an over angle on this thing. It can side scrape, but you got to really make it so that it is a very minimal angle. Now, when I'm going on this T28 right here, I load the APCR, and I'm going to aim for his cupola, and I am going to not pen it. Now, that is something to be said about the APCR for this tank. Is not the best, it's not the worst. And that was an unfortunate bounce, but I do nail him in the lower plate right there, so that is a plus. But you can just see that for 7-something seconds, 1 second faster than the Edelweiss, you get a little bit alpha. I have seen this gun roll in the 300s. Alright, it usually rolls for around 280 or something like that, but you once in a while see a 300 hit, which is very tasty, alright? So you can just see the mobility in action right here. It gets up to speed decently quick. I do have traction system on this tank, so I mean that helps out. But then again, my buddy to the left of me in the Nameless doesn't have the traction system. Honestly, he's right there with you, so the traction system might be pointless. I didn't get enough time to really experiment with it. And plus, like I said, with a full crew, you might not even need it. There's only one tank left here, so I'm just gonna finish up what I have to say about this tank. As you saw it in decent action. You saw both tanks, the Edelweiss and this, both in top tier matchmaking, okay? Now, I really didn't like playing top tier, being bottom tier in the Edelweiss. In the Nameless, I didn't mind it. It was more tolerable. It still sucked. And, by the way, I just noticed right now, the Nameless still suffers from the horrible lack of gun depression that the Edelweiss has. Same gun depression. I couldn't even bring it down on his little R2D2 thing right there. I had to keep backing up in order to get enough gun depression. So, I stand by what I said still. Is this thing worth itself alone? It could be. But if you're going to do it, I would just get the package. You'll save yourself some gold in the long run. If you're thinking about buying both tanks, then definitely just get the package, you guys. I enjoyed the Nameless over the Edelweiss more. They both had the same amount of skills, same amount of equipment on there. So it was a fair comparison. If they both had full crews, I don't know, my idea might change of the two or which one I liked better. But for now, it was definitely the Nameless. The armor that held up was actually nice, and it allowed you to stay alive longer in games than just using the Edelweiss to do some flanking stuff when there's better tanks in the game that can just do flanking stuff. Because it definitely was not a brawler, and it definitely was not a sniper. So, let's look at the armor here. It gets up to 251 millimeters of armor. And that's going to be on the upper plate and some places on the turret. That is dang good for a tier 8, you guys. Dang good. Now, the upper plate has different layers of thickness. So, the thicker the armor is going to be at the bottom of the upper plate. So, the further down on the upper plate you go, the harder it's going to be to pen. So if you want to pen this thing, your best shot is to shoot him on the as high on the upper plate as you can. But even then, the angling is pretty good once you get to the top, so you still might struggle to get through the upper. I just wouldn't even try to get through the upper unless you're shooting down on him or you're in a tier 10 game with some bigger pen. Aim for the lower plate, aim for the cupola. The turret is also troll in this tank. That thing's going to be hard to pen as well. I can see over in the right side that I was running traction system, rammer, and vert stabs. I did enjoy these with a no crew on it. If I had a full crew, these would probably change. I will let you guys figure out what crew perks you will run on this tank. It's not going to be rocket science, honestly. It's already got some decent stuff going for it. Just make the gun handling a little better, maybe the mobility is a little better, and you're going to be A-okay. And that is going to be pretty much a wrap for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for showing up. Go down and drop a comment. What did you think? Have you played this tank? What do you feel about it? Have you been up against it? How do you feel about it? Let me know what you think about that commander voice. Okay, no, seriously. And we'll react the like and subscribe button, you guys. Oh yeah, and if y'all have any comments or questions about the tank, just put it in the comments. I'll answer that thing lickety-split. Shrek the bell in the top right corner of the screen to let you know when I drop another video, and I will see your lovely faces in the next one. Ooh, woo!